Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In this lesson, we are going to write our very first Python program. We will learn how to display information using the print statement, how a basic Python program is structured, and then we'll move on to variables and basic data types. By the end of this video, you'll be able to write simple Python programs that store and display information such as names, ages, prices, and true or false values. Okay, to follow along, you need somewhere to write Python code. You can use VS Code, PyCharm, or any IDLE of your choice. But for this video, I'm going to use VS Code. For this tutorial, I'm going to create a new Python file called firstprogram.py. Call it firstprogram.py. Python files normally end with .py. This tells the computer that the file contains Python code. So our first Python program will display a message on the screen. In Python, we use the print function to display information. We use the print function to display information on the screen. So let us type our first lines of Python code. So I'm just going to okay. Now if we save the code, then we run it, it's going to print hello world. Congratulations, you have just written your first Python program. Now let us understand what is happening here. Print, this one, print is the name of the function. A function is an instruction that performs a task. The task of print is to display information on the screen. Like this, it displays information on the screen. The round brackets, these ones, the round brackets contain the information we want to print. The words hello world are inside quotation marks because they are text. In Python, a text is called a string. A Python program can have more than one line of code. Python runs the instructions from top to bottom. Let's print our multiple lines. Let's say print. Okay, this is my first program. So print, and let's print again. Print. Let's print our name. My name is Brandon. Okay, there. Save the code. Then we run it. Notice that it printed everything. It printed all these three print statements. So Python runs the instructions from top to bottom. Okay, let's talk about basic Python data types. Variables can store different types of information. These types are called data types. Today we are going to look at 4 common data types in Python. We have strings. Let me write them. We have strings, integers, floats, and booleans. Okay, these are the 4 common data types in Python. Okay, let's look at strings. A string is a text. Strings are written inside quotation marks like this. This is a string. This is a string. A string is written inside quotation marks. So names, words, addresses, and full sentences are normally stored as strings. Then we have integers. The age, let's say 35. Okay, an integer is a whole number. It does not have a decimal point. So an integer is a whole number, 1, 2, 3, or even negative 10. That's a whole number. So that's an integer. Okay, then we have data type number 4, floats. Okay, a float is a number that contains a decimal point. In Python, we use a full stop. We use a dot instead of a comma for a decimal point. So prices, measurements, and averages are often stored as floats. Then we have data type number 4, and that's a boolean. A booleans. Okay, a boolean. A boolean stores only one of two values, true or false. Booleans are useful when we need to represent yes or no information. For example, is the student registered, true or false? Is the payment being made, true or false? Remember that true or false begins with capital letters in Python. So small letter t or small letter f, Python won't recognize that as a boolean. Okay. When naming variables, there are few important rules. A variable name should describe the information it stores. For example, okay, these are good variable names because they clearly explain what each variable stores. Variable names cannot contain spaces. Instead of like this, writing student name, we write student underscore name. Okay, variable names should not start with a number like this. Variable names should not start with a number. Okay, so this is wrong. And okay, but if I put the number at the end, that is correct. Also remember that Python is case sensitive. That means This means that small letter n and capital letter N are treated as two different variables. Okay, welcome to lesson 3. Today we are going to look at strings. By the end of this lesson, you are supposed to be able to define a string, create strings, use quotation marks, explain string indexing, use positive and negative indexes, slice a string, reverse a string using slicing, use the split function, join function, zfill function, bin function, and count function. Alright, let's get into it. Today we're learning about strings. In Python, a string is a text. Any word, sentence, phone number, address, or message placed inside quotation marks is treated as a string. For example, a person's name can be stored as a string. An email address can be stored as a string. Even numbers can be strings when they are inside quotation marks. Okay, take a look at this. Name. Okay. Okay, in this example, we have name and phone number. All contain strings because the values are inside quotation marks. These values are inside quotation marks. Even though the phone number contains digits, Python sees it as a text because it is written inside quotation marks. Okay. A string can be written using either double quotation marks or single quotation marks. Double quotation marks or single quotation marks. Okay. So a string is a sequence of characters placed inside quotation marks. Characters can be letters, digits, spaces, or symbols. Okay. Let's talk about string indexing. Okay, let me first delete this. Okay, perfect. Let's talk about string indexing. Python stores each character in a string at a specific position. That position is called an index. The most important rule is that Python starts counting from 0, not from 1. Python starts counting from 0, not from 1. So for example,
in this variable name, B is at position 0, R is at position 1. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. Okay, let me run the code. You see, I printed the variable name and the position 0, and I got what? I got B. Okay, so when I write name open square brackets and put 0 inside, I'm asking Python to give me the character at position 0. This is the character at position 0. Okay, so then if I write a name open square bracket and then 1, if I print that, it gave me R, because R is at the index 1. Okay, so let's move on to negative indexing. Python also allows us to count characters from the end of a string. For this, we use negative indexes. The last character is at index -1. The second last character is at index -2. This one, if I want the last character of this particular string, it's -1. Let me save the code. Then I run it. See, here on my terminal, it printed N. That is that's the last character of the variable name. Okay, so if you want O, it's -2 and so on. Okay, so we are probably wondering why negative indexing is useful. So negative indexing is useful when we want characters from the end but do not want to count how long the string is. Maybe you're working with a very long string. You don't want to count the characters of that string, but you want the last character of that particular string. That's when negative indexing is useful. Okay, so always know that -1 in indexing, that means the last character in the string. Okay, so let us move on to string errors. Let me just clear here. A string only has a certain number of valid positions. The word Python has 6 characters. Okay, let's change this one to Python. Okay, the word Python has 6 characters, so its valid positive indexes are 0 up to 5, not 1 up to 6. So trying to access an index that does not exist causes an error. Like this, I'm trying to access the character index number 6, but it doesn't exist. This variable has a maximum of 5 characters. Okay, let me run the code. See, I got an error, index error, string index out of range. So Python gives an index error because index 6 does not exist in the word Python. The final valid index is 5. This n is 5. Remember that Python starts counting from 0. Remember that Python starts counting from 0, not 1. Okay. Now let us move on to string slicing. Indexing gives us one character. Slicing gives us a section of a string. So when you work with string indexing, you only get one character. Sometimes you want to work with a section of a string. This is where string slicing comes in. So the structure of string slicing is like this. We have the variable, open square bracket, we have start and end. This is the string slicing structure. The starting index is included, but the ending index is not included. So the starting index is included, but the ending index is not included. Okay, let's use Okay, let's change this variable again. Let's call it let's just say Python programming over here. Okay, fine. Okay, so P is index number 0, Y is 1, T is 2, H is 3, and so on. Okay, so let us print this print name of the variable, open square brackets, 1, this, okay, 5. Okay, that's fine. Okay, remember what I said. The starting index is included. This starting index is included, but the ending index is not included. So this is index number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. N is index number 5. But look, when I ran the code, it only printed index number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Index number 5 wasn't included. So always remember that when working with string slicing, the starting index is included, but the ending index is not included. So if you want, if I wanted to print Python, so if I also wanted to involve to print this n, I was supposed to set the ending index to number 6. As you can see here, this time n was included. Okay, so when the starting position is missing, Python starts from the beginning. This is what I mean, like this. When the starting position is missing, Python starts from the beginning. Okay, so which means Python is going to start from what? Index 0, this letter P. Okay, now let us move on to slicing with a step. Okay, slicing can also include a third number called the step. The full structure is like this. We have the variable name, open square bracket, start, your semicolon, end, and then step. Okay, so the step tells Python how many positions to move each time. This step, this one, it tells Python how many positions to move each time. Okay, so okay, let's print that out. Print. Okay, then wait, let's change the variable this time. Let's work with the word. Yeah, let's just say programming. Okay, word, open square bracket, semicolon, 2. Then we run the code. See what was printed, PORMIG here on the terminal. So Python starts from the beginning. Since we didn't include anything here in the beginning, we didn't include any indexes. Python starts from the beginning and takes every second character. What do I mean about that? Look, it printed P. It started from the beginning. Take the second character, that's O, and then the second character, that's R, and then the second character, that is M, second character, that is I, second character, that is G. Okay, so with this with start and step, Python with start and step, This step tells Python how many positions to move each time. So with here, it didn't include anything. Starts from P, move 2 positions, of which is 0, 1, takes this one, then 0, 1, takes this one, 0, 1, and then takes this one. Okay, let us move on to part 7, which is reversing a string. A useful slicing technique is reversing a string. We use a step of -1 because we want Python to move backwards. Okay, we have our word here programming. Okay, so let's print it. That it's word, open square brackets, semicolon, -1. Save it. See, this is what we call reversing a string. Okay, let me explain it slowly for you. The first semicolon, this is the first semicolon. It means you are not choosing a special starting point. The first semicolon means you're not choosing a special starting point. If you want to choose a special starting point, you can put any index there. Okay. Then the second semicolon, this one, it means we are not choosing a special end. The second colon means we are not choosing a special ending point. And then -1 means move backwards 1 character at a time. If you want, you can move it 3 characters at a time. It's up to you, depending on the type of project that you're working on. Okay. So always remember that this is what string indexing. This reverses a string because the step is a -1. Because the step is a -1. Alright, let's talk about some important string methods and function. So strings are, let me first clear my terminal and this block of code. Okay, strings become much more useful when we use methods and functions. A method is an action attached to a value, usually written using a dot. A function can receive a value inside brackets. Okay. So I want us to focus on methods and functions that often appear in exam questions. Okay. Function number 1 is the split function. Okay, imagine let me tell you what the split function is. The split function breaks one string into smaller pieces and returns a list. So a split function breaks one string into smaller pieces and returns a list. So I imagine an IPv4 address written as IPv4 address, alright. It's written usually it's like this. Okay, these are just random numbers. This is not my actual IPv4 address. The dots separate 4 different numbers. We can ask Python to break the string wherever it finds a dot. Alright, so let me make this a string and I assign it to a variable. Let's call it IP. Alright, let's save our parts equals IP dot split. Okay, print parts. Okay, let me save it, then I run the code. So before I said the split function breaks one string into smaller pieces and returns a list. Here's your list. So it broke this IPv4 address into what? Into a list. It splitted it using this dot that's in this IPv4 address. So the output uses square brackets because split returns a list. In Python, square brackets define a list. So each part is still a string because it came from text. Remember that. So each part is still a string because it came from what? From text. Okay. So the split function separates the address into a list of strings. We can later convert those strings into integers using the int function. Okay, we're going to cover this function as time goes. Okay, let us talk about another function, join. Okay. So join. The join function joins several strings together using a chosen operator. So the join function joins several strings together using a chosen operator. Okay, so dot split breaks one string apart, and then join does the opposite. It joins separate strings together. Okay, like this. So let's say we have parts. Okay, 172. Let's say 16. Let's say 32. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, it's an IPv4 address. Let's say 4. All right, and then IP dot. Oh no, it's actually IP assign it to a variable. Print IP. Okay, let me clear my terminal. Run. Okay. So the joins function joins several strings together using a chosen operator. So I ran this code. Look now, it joined these strings together into one chosen string. So this one before dot join is the separator. So this dot before dot join is the separator. It means place a dot between every item in the list. So it means place a dot between every item in the list. These are the items. So it means place a dot between every item in the list. Okay. So the join function joins strings. So the join function joins string items together. The items being joined should already be strings. Remember that they should already be strings. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about another function, the bin function. What? Yeah, this one, the bin function. So bin converts an integer into a binary string. So the bin function converts an integer into a binary string. Computers work with binary numbers made from zeros and ones. Python provides the bin function to convert a normal decimal integer into binary. So we can have a number equals 5. Let's say binary number, bin number. Then we print what? Binary number. This is the output. The actual binary digits are 1 0 1. Python adds 0b at the beginning to show us that the number is represented in binary form. So the actual digits are 1 0 1. Okay. So 0b is Python's prefix showing that the value is written in binary. The binary digits come after the prefix. Okay, now I want us to talk about the count function. Let me first clear this. The count function, this one. So the count function counts how many times a chosen character appears in a string. Okay. If you already have a binary address, we may be asked to count the number of zeros and ones. We can use the string method count. Okay. So let's add this binary number. This is what? Is a string. It's what? 0 0 0. So 0 0 0. Let me add another 0. Yeah, thinks this works. Okay, zeros. Binary number. Not dot count. That one. Wait, I know this also has to be what? A variable once equals, yeah. But let's print okay. All right, yeah, that works. Okay, all right, so the count function counts how many times a chosen character appears in a string, right? So I wrote this code, then I printed it. Look what printed on my terminal. Count dot count 0 searches through the entire string and counts each 0. Okay. Then count to 1 counts and then count to 1 also searches through the entire strings and counts how many ones that are there. Then as you can see here, we have 6 0. It's 1 2 3 4 5 6, and also 2 ones. It's 1 2, as you can see on my terminal. Okay, so this marks the end of lesson 3. So in lesson 3 we learned the split function, join function, bin function, and also the count function. Okay.